Hello everybody, my name is Aud and welcome back to the Aud Narrations channel, a place where we read and react to interesting Reddit stories. Today on Aud Narrations, the story we'll be reading is titled 7 Years and I'm Still Not Over It. As always, if you appreciate these videos and want to see more, make sure to hit the like and subscribe, that way you won't miss out on the latest uploads. Alrighty, let's make a start. The post reads, 7 years ago, I came home from work to an empty house. No note, no wife, no daughter. It was the first day of school for my 9-year-old daughter, and I'd stopped and bought her some school supplies that I was excited to give her. Phone calls to the wife are unanswered. Phone calls to her family are unanswered. I finally get a hold of my stepdaughter, who makes some calls, and she calls back and tells me to leave the house because the wife has reported me for domestic violence. Confused because I hadn't committed any DV. I called the police to see if I was wanted. I was not. So I met with the captain of detectives and told him my story. He tells me that it's not an unusual one. He gives me some advice and I file a report for custodial interference since she took my daughter. The officer that takes the report calls the wife and she answers. He questions her why she left with my daughter and she gives him the story that I was beating her. He asks why she never reported it and she says she's planning to in the city she fled to. She went to her family which lives 3 hours away. Long story short, she files a report and I'm charged because my state automatically charges men who are accused of DV. I hire a lawyer who destroys her so-called case and I'm free to pursue custody of my daughter. I'm awarded primary custody and the wife celebrates by going on a multi-state party and drug binge. She returns for her birthday and passes away 10 days later. Fucking hell. And passes away 10 days later from an overdose. I'm not allowed to attend her funeral, but 3 other men, all claiming to be her boyfriend, are. They give her ashes to one to take to his state. 7 years. I'm still not over it. No way of reconciliation, even if I wanted to. No grave or mark to talk to, or cry or scream at. I've resigned myself to spending the rest of my life alone because she destroyed my ability to trust. It has been a boon to my relationship with my daughter because I focus on giving her the best life I can. Believe it or not, this is the short version. Sorry for the length. Be careful with each other. It's easier than you think to destroy someone. Well, I'm sorry to hear this, especially after all of it, her passing away. Normally in these kinds of stories, whoever kind of messes around a little bit sometimes gets away with it. But I guess, yeah. But let's have a look at what the community says. Someone left a comment saying, I'm sorry for what happened to you. I know this might seem insensitive, but if I were in your shoes, I'd initially feel the turmoil of everything I'd been through up to the point of getting custody, and then I'd be glad the wife didn't take the daughter down with her and no one else claimed paternity. OP replied saying, true, the paternity was never in question, but even if it had been, she's my daughter. I watched her come into this world and I've loved her ever since I heard her heartbeat. Even if she wasn't my biological daughter, I've always been her daddy. Someone replied saying, do you and your daughter have a relationship with the maternal side of the family? And OP replied saying, a very shallow one. They send money on her birthday and Christmas. Someone else left a comment saying, wow, I'm so sorry this happened to you and your daughter. What you're doing is brave and takes a lot of strength. Keep going for yourself and your daughter. I wish you well. OP replied saying, thank you. Someone else left another comment saying, are you a good and faithful person? If so, I guarantee that in a world with billions of people, there are good and faithful people, and you'll want to find one to relate to. You just have to stop correlating people who have nothing to do with your terrible wife. In this world, you find people without character like your wife, and good people like you come out of the shadow who finds her. That's hard to read. OP replied saying, I'm sure you're right. It's just hard to look at women and not wonder what they're really after right now. I know there are good people out there and wonderful women, but I'm on the wrong side of 45 and I doubt I'll meet one anytime soon. Not that I'm looking, I'm just focusing on my daughter for now. Someone replied saying, don't worry, I look at men the same way. Broken trust really affects you. Just keep in mind, you don't want someone to hold you accountable for what their ex did, so don't hold someone accountable for what your ex did. That's a very fair point. All women aren't her, all men aren't my ex. That, yeah. No, that's really valid. I guess, obviously, it's kind of obvious, but I guess just making that link really puts it into perspective. OP replied saying, you're 100% correct, and like I said in another comment, I know there are wonderful women out there, I just don't seem to attract them. I wish I could say that she was the first woman to cheat on me, but she wasn't. 7 years has given me a lot of time to self-reflect about the choices I made and why I choose the partners I do. Trying to be someone's hero or white knight always leads to both parties being disappointed. I wish you luck in your journey. Someone replied saying, Guy, that's a terrible shock to come home to an empty house. Maybe look at it this way. She chose her path and it destroyed her. It's done. No more bad updates, no more shocks to your system. My ex of 20 years went crazy and went on a multinational drug spree, several topping attempts, and got essayed. Terrible things even got graced major facial damages by a train a few weeks ago. So you have this wound, and certain personality types recognize this wound and are attracted to it. Now, if you're able to recognize them and avoid them, you can find someone. Someone else left a comment saying, as someone who has raised my child and barely dated because I didn't trust men to not cheat or hurt my child, I wish I'd worked on healing harder, not just for myself, but for my child. I taught them not to trust, and now it's hard for them to form relationships. Don't make my mistake. Read here and see that there are people like us who value fidelity. They want a partner to care for and care for them. Counselling can help you heal and your child deal with your grief and your ex's betrayal. Someone replied saying this is good advice. Someone else left a comment saying, Bud, you've been dealt shit cards. Have you tried therapy? Have you exercised at all? Look, no one can blame you for being in a funk after all that happened to you. But you've got a kid and she needs you to be the best you. OP replied saying, I spend a lot of time in the gym. And they replied saying, good stuff, man. Look, you need to make a call at some stage. You need to work past this pain, and that's why I was asking you, do you go to therapy? I don't think any of us can really feel what you feel, as this was just horrible. However, there are others out there like you. Have you considered helping people, going into counselling? Ironically, the same thing happened to my wife's cousin. He found her dead at his house. The guy has to move on after many, many years and recently remarried. That's rough. Someone else left a comment saying, I have no words of comfort for you whatsoever, OP. What you've been through, just your harrowing highlights illustrate how utterly cruel and callous some human beings can be. That you have pulled through for your daughter, despite, no doubt, being in emotional agony, is a credit to the man you are. I sincerely hope, despite your doubts, that a woman presents herself and captures your heart and restores your faith in relationships. You have such a good heart and have so much love to give. The world needs more people like you. I hope you've been able to get counselling because your situation is so complex. You would truly benefit from it. I've been through quite a lot in my life myself, and situations that cause such trauma are rarely events we get over. We simply find a way to get through. I'm sure your lovely daughter helps immeasurably. Do permit yourself to focus on your own well-being too. All the cliches such as eat clean, exercise, drink lots of water, get fresh air and sleep. Do something for yourself every single day, a small act of self-care. Whether it's a hobby that you're into, a visit to the gym, socializing with friends, and even when you don't feel like it, or a long walk in a beautiful space, sending you strength and courage. Yeah, this is really tough. I really feel bad for OP. I really feel sorry for them. That is a horrific experience. And I think, to be honest, the call about, gym is good, but therapy to help you work through these things and sort of explore, and help rationalize, I guess, why exactly as that comment was saying, you shouldn't be blaming all your potential future partners for what your ex did, in a way. What do you think OP should do? What would you do in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comments. If you made it this far in the video, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. Thank you. Alrighty, we will have to finish there for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.